everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Becca, and if it's your first time here, then welcome. I'm so happy you're here. Today we are going to be playing with a lot of new makeup. It's going to be less review and more of like a makeup playtime because I have quite a few things in from PR. I've gone to some recent events where I've gotten some pretty cool goodie bags, just lots of new things to play with. I've already done my skincare and SPF, but I'm going to give my face a little bit of a spritz with the Flora & Bass Barrier Building Hydrosol. So this was gifted to me by my friend Gabby, who is a makeup artist. You should definitely follow her on Instagram, the Gabrielle Alvarez, and she does a lot of work with Flora & Bass, and they're a relatively new brand to me. So I'm just going to give myself a little bit of a spritz. Very fine mister. Oh, that smells really nice. It's giving me cucumber. It smells green. I don't know how else to describe it, but mostly I feel like it's kind of cucumbery. There's like a bit of, yeah, like a bitter green smell, but like a really refreshing green smell. I'm going to prep my lips using the Beneath Your Mask Remedy Conditioning Lip Balm. So I just got this in a gift bag. I was at a Credo Beauty event last night, and I've actually been really wanting to try Beneath Your Mask. They're a smaller, newer brand, I think, and they're a Black-owned brand. And this lip balm, I opened it last night right before bed, and it's so nice. So it's like an aluminum tube, and it's the kind of lip balm that the balm gets really melty on your lips, and it has the most incredible scent. It's like a mandarin. There's like mandarin in here. There's definitely some like other citrus notes, but it almost smells more like a mandarin seed than the mandarin fruit itself. It's obviously got that juicy rush, but there's this kind of greenness to the mandarin that I'm sure there's other notes in here, but it's just so refreshing. It feels really nice. There's no tingling or anything like that. It just really coats the lips. It feels almost like a lip mask. I don't have actually anything new for base, but I do have a new shade of the Fenty Eavesdrop. So I first picked this up in the shade number 10, which was a little bit too warm for me. It pulled a little bit peachy and kind of orange along my jawline. So I went a shade down and I went to shade 9, which I think is described as light medium with neutral undertones. I've used it a couple of times now and I do really like it. I have a full review of this on Instagram, which I will link in the description box. So I'm just gonna speed through this, but what I can say so far is that for my skin, my like combo light medium skin tone, so far this is really nice, and it is so long lasting while being very thin and a natural finish. This applies well both with fingers and a brush. I'm gonna use a brush today just because it's pretty quick that way, and I'm not looking for a super perfected base. So I just have to say, while I am working on this base, that I'm having so much fun on YouTube. I've been doing social media on Instagram for about 2 years. I actually just passed my 2-year Instaversary, and of course that's really fun and I love Instagram, but there's something about the long form content of YouTube that really makes me feel like I can be myself and go in depth, which you know I like to do. And I do feel like there's sort of a different kind of community on YouTube. Obviously my community here still is very small, but it's just been really cool to kind of explore a new platform, and I'm getting better at editing. It still takes me a really long time, but I'm learning all of these new skills, and it's just been a really cool experience and nice to remember that you can learn how to do new things even when you're 30 years old like me. So I'm really happy you're here, and yeah, I guess I just want to say thanks for being here, and I'm excited to keep growing. I have so many more ideas than I can keep up with in terms of production because it's all still new to me. I'm figuring out the lights and my filming setup, and we're actually moving in a couple of weeks, so I'm gonna have to figure it out all over again anyways, which is totally fine. It's just kind of nice in those moments, I think, to remember that people are here to hang out and talk about beauty and not because like my video production is so great. great. So I'm just happy you're here and I'm excited to keep going. Oh, and this is the Flower Beauty foundation brush. It is really good. All of the Flower Beauty brushes that I've tried are excellent. I've tried this, and there's a powder brush that I use for bronzer and a dual-sided eye brush that's really good, but this is my favorite. It's just really, really soft, and it has a pretty large circumference, I guess. So it makes really quick work of blending. Nothing new with concealer, so I'm just gonna go in with my Armani Power Fabric Concealer in the shade 5 really quick. I've been using an eyeshadow brush to blend out my under eye concealer, and I'm really liking it. I know a lot of makeup artists do this, and I used to think because the brush is small that it would be really fussy, but that's actually not the case at all. And this is just a Wet n Wild synthetic brush. It's the 033. I think it was part of a set, but they also sell it individually. And yeah, it works really well. Spot concealing just a touch with NARS Soft Matte in Custard. I'm going to use liquid cheek products, I think, in a little bit, but I just want to set my T-zone real quick and under the eyes. I am using the Rodial glass powder. It's a loose setting powder. This is new to me, but I really like it. I find it to be a really undetectable loose powder. It does mattify slightly, but it's not really, really matte. And it actually fills in the pores really nicely. So I'm just gonna do that really, really lightly through the T-zone. I'm gonna leave the cheeks unset for later. By the way, do you like these flowers? Neutrogena sent over like the most wild PR package the other day for their Hydro Boost line, which I really love. And they sent over this bouquet of flowers and they're so beautiful. There's some roses and poppies, which are my fave. So I just wanted to point that out. All right, I'm gonna dive right into the goods. So this is the Chantecaille Fall 2021 collection, and it came in this beautiful PR package. You open it up and it says, for Fall 2021, Chantecaille has teamed up with Sujan's Tiger and Leopard Conservation Projects to help protect and preserve the future of these magnificent cats in the wild. So in the box, I have an eye kajal. I've got 2 of their limited edition luminescent eye shades in Tiger and Leopard. And then we've got 5 shades of their lip cheeks. I think 2 or 3 of the shades are new. And this is one of my favorite lip formulas and my favorite eyeshadow formulas. I actually just mentioned their regular collection luminescent eye shades in my fall makeup edit, so I'll link that in the cards here. So this is the Leopard Luminescent Eye Shade. It looks like this. It's this beautiful, warm, bronzy copper shade. And this is the Tiger shade, which is a beautiful, smoky emerald shade. I can't wait to get this on the eyes. I do want to actually lay down a bit of a matte base before I go in with the luminescent eye shades. So I think I'm gonna go into the M Cosmetics Divine Skies eyeshadow palette. This was gifted to me by Hannah Louise Poston, whom many of you know, and I think many of you found me through Hannah. And Hannah and I met up this last weekend for brunch, and it was the most incredible, delightful friend meeting ever. It's one of those things where you feel like you know so much about someone because you're online friends, but then you get to meet in person and you realize you have all of these other things in common. And it was just a really special friend meeting. So she shared with me the M Cosmetics Divine Skies eyeshadow palette, among a few other things. And it looks like this. So I'm just gonna go into this brown shade to create a bit of dimension. I'm not gonna do anything super special with this palette today. Believe it or not, I have actually never tried M Cosmetics. I don't know why, it's just one of those brands that has been a gap in my collection, so I'm really excited to try this. Wow, that blended out really quickly. I can see this being a really beginner-friendly eyeshadow formula because it's very soft. It took almost no work to blend, and it's not so pigmented that you have to blend out a lot. I forgot to mention, I also did prime my eyes off camera. Just gonna do the same under the lash line, just on the outer like 1/3 of my eye, which is the only place I really like to add eyeshadow. Okay, that was beautiful, but it's not the star of the show. I am excited to create more looks with that, but I wanna dive right into the Chantecaille eye shades. I think I'm gonna start with the bronzy shade as a base. So these have a beautiful embossing on the pan. It's a little bit different than the embossing that is on their regular standard luminescent eye shades. This is a baked gelée formula, so it tends to be kind of a sheerer application, but it's also very complex at the same time. Ooh, that's smoky. I like that. So these tend to be, because they're a baked gelée formula, they tend to be more satiny and not super opaque. Like these are not your powdery standard eyeshadows. These tend to be a thinner formula. I'm just going to sculpt that outer corner a little bit, and then I'm gonna go into the inner corner of the eye and across the lid with that emerald shade. Surprise, this is gonna be a smoky look. Let's go into that emerald shade. I'm just flipping the brush over. So you can see there's really not much kick up with these shades because they're baked. Oh, wow. I don't know if this is gonna pick up on camera. It's a very interesting green. It flashes very emerald. It has a slightly darker base. So interesting. Creates a very smoky, complex eye look. And it has like a twinkle to it, but I wouldn't call it a straight up metallic either. It's more that it has a flash and a shine. So for my eye shape, I like to blend above my eye fold. I do have like a double eyelid, but it's kind of lower. And when I really want the eyeshadow color to shine, I always bring it above the fold. And that's just a tip in general for hooded eyes or monolids. Just deepening up that first leopard shade just a little bit so you can see it. These both have a very smoky base, which feels appropriate for fall. That makes sense. So here's a close-up of the eyeshadow. It's very complex in person. It's one of those shades that I'm not sure exactly how it's gonna look on camera, but it's full of like complex twinklies in person. I'm going to line my eyes using this Chantecaille Eye Kajal in the shade Black. That was also in the PR package, and I've actually never tried this formula. I'm only really gonna line the lash line because this look is so smoky. I don't want the lash line to get lost in all of this. It's applying really easily. It's super creamy. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna add a wing or anything. By the way, I find that holding the pencil parallel to my eye helps me a lot more when I am just lining the lash line and I don't want a really dramatic eyeliner. It just is so much easier to apply because I basically am just touching the side of the pencil to the lash line. So Gabby also gave me this mascara by a brand called Half Caked, which is new to me, and I know she loves their blushes, but this mascara is really interesting. I just tried it for the first time yesterday. It's called Totally Tubular, so it's a tubing mascara. This is the wand. It's curved, which honestly I usually don't like, but the bristles are very separating. They're wider apart on the top and then they're closer together on the bottom. But it gave me a really nice fanned out lash look that was actually buildable. And most tubing mascaras I find are not buildable. The only thing it didn't do was hold a curl for me, but honestly no mascara does that. So I always use my Peri Para Ink Mascara Fixer as my primer. So I'm just gonna do a coat of this. very lightly. Okay, here we go. So far, I can say that the wand does a really good job at separating, which is something I look for because my lashes are really fine and they're pretty short. I like something that is separating, that will hold a curl, and that gives me more of a fanned out lash look. So this is with mascara and without mascara. Oh my God, I just realized what this mascara reminds me of. It reminds me of the Victoria Beckham Future Lash Mascara. So that is also a beautiful tubing mascara with a slightly curved wand, but it's also really, really buildable. And it's not a super wet formula, but it takes a while to completely dry down. And so it lets you build and build, which I feel like for tubing mascaras is kind of rare. And this has that same buildable quality. It lets you kind of add product and brush it out and add product and brush it out to get that fanned out, more feathery lash look. But I'm sure this is probably like half the price of the Victoria Beckham Future Lash Mascara. Let me look it up. Okay, even better than what I thought. This mascara is $12, which is amazing, and it performs beautifully, and it comes off so easily. Last night, I always take my mascara off with micellar water, and I just held a cotton pad with micellar against my eye for like 2 seconds, and all the fibers just came off so easily. Did I just find a new favorite mascara? This feels like a big deal. Let us have this moment of finding a potentially new favorite. Let's move on to cheeks. I think I'm going to skip highlighter and bronzer and just keep it really simple with cheeks today because the eyes are kind of a statement. So these are the blush drops, also from Rodial, and I've never tried these before. So I'm actually pretty picky when it comes to liquid blushes, and they come in this like dropper format. This is the shade Sunset Kiss, which is this golden rosy pearl, quite warm. And this is the shade Frosted Pink, which is obviously a lot brighter, much more of a true bright pink. So I think I'm gonna try Sunset Kiss today. I'm just going to paint this on the back of my hand, like take a little bit like that, and use a brush to apply it. This is the Sephora Pro, what is this? The 56 brush. This is limited edition packaging, but it's in their permanent line, and it's a really good cream blush brush, even though technically it's a foundation brush. That's nice. It's very glowy, and it's really not that pigmented. It actually feels almost like a pink tinted liquid highlighter. Very pretty. It creates a very sheeny look. I wouldn't even call it, I mean, I'm using it as a blush, but I think this would be a really beautiful highlighter on like a deeper skin tone. It's very glowy. It also has a slightly oily consistency, so I'm curious if this will set down. I'm gonna give it a few minutes and I'll let you know. For lips, I'm definitely gonna use one of the Chantecaille lip cheeks. So let me pull all of these out. I will swatch all of them and we can figure out which shade works best for this look. So these are the Fall 2021 lip cheeks. Look how beautiful. I think this is limited edition packaging for the 3 older shades, and then there are 2 new shades in here. So they've got this like gold metallic tube with jewel colored lids, and then they've got the Chantecaille C on top. So this is the first one I'm going to swatch, and this is the shade Ural. I just looked it up online. I guess it is the name of a plant species in India. So you can see by the way these apply, they're not super opaque. They've got this sheer creaminess to them. And this is one of my favorite bullet lipstick formulas. They've got like a balminess, but like kind of a thicker texture. They have a bit of body to them. So this is Ural. It's kind of like a classic neutral rose. Next up is Honeysuckle, and I think this is a pre-existing shade. So Honeysuckle is a little bit deeper, and it almost has a touch of beige running through it. Like it's slightly more of a brownie rose than that first shade. I have no idea why I started swatching like this. This makes no sense, but I have to commit. I'm too far in. This is the shade Damask, and it is a deeper rose. It has like almost a berry quality to it. Then I've got Red Juniper, which looks like a beautiful, like bright cherry sort of shade. Yeah, that's definitely a bright, like blue-based cherry red. And then we've got the last one, which is the shade Latana. I'm actually gonna swatch it on this side to compare to the lighter nude shades. Ooh, so pretty. This is like the warmest nude. It almost has like the most peachy quality to it. I think I might use either this one, Latana, or Honeysuckle. I'm gonna use Latana, and I'm not using any lip liner just so you can see the true formula, and then I might go in with a liner after. It's so creamy, so comfortable. It honestly feels like a relief for your lips when you put it on. My perfect nude shade. The perfect peachy nude. So that is Latana. I think I might grab a brownie liner and just line the edges of the lips. This is Victoria Beckham 02. I'm not even really adding a lot of pencil. I just want a bit of definition. So I'm feeling really shiny. I know I'm under studio lights, but I think also because that blush didn't set down, it's making me feel even more shiny. So I'm going to powder just a little bit more. I'm not sure how I feel about this blush. I just don't know if it works for my skin type. I can see this being really beautiful for like a no makeup, for people with drier skin or even normal skin, but I feel like for me, it's just a little too shiny. And because it's a little oily and doesn't really set down, it's just maybe not the best for my skin type. I know I said I wasn't going to add bronzer, but I think I am, just because when I look at like my shoulder, which is obviously like very tan, I just feel like I look a little bit washed out, a little bit pink. So I'm using my Victoria Beckham Beauty bronzer with my Rephr 02 brush, which is amazing. It's a big boy. It just makes really fast work of blending. And this bronzer is one of my most used. So I literally just tap it on the cheek and that's it. It's blended out. It's so wild. Tap, tap, tap. That's it. I know that's a really small thing to do, but I feel like it actually makes a big difference in terms of the overall like tone and undertone of the look. So I'm gonna stop there. The powder was nice. It's not anything super special, but it's effective and I don't find that it gives me any issues, no texture problems, anything like that. The M Cosmetics eyeshadow palette, the Divine Skies eyeshadow palette, I'm very excited to play with more. Just based on that one shade, I can tell it's a formula that I'm going to like. And of course the Chantecaille luminescent eye shades, like they're really the star of the show in this look. They're beautiful. And I think the color selection of this of this collection, the color selection of this collection is really beautiful, as are all of the lip cheeks. I really like the one I'm wearing today, Latana. I can tell I'm going to wear it a lot. And lastly, the blush drops, not my favorite. Not my favorite, but I think it's a skin type thing more than a product thing, because the product itself is pretty. It just didn't work with my skin type. And the obvious star of the show is a new favorite mascara. It is the half-caked tubular, totally tubular mascara. I'm going to be using this a lot, I can tell. And I loved what I prepped my skin with, the Flora & Bast Hydrosol Mist, as well as the Beneath Your Mask Lip Balm. I can already tell that's going straight to my purse. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.